Good morning. Let's get started. All right. A lot of gappers today. Um, Looks like CoreWeave has some news with Meta. Pretty incredible. Now, isn't this interesting? You got this pretty clean trend break right here. Breakout pullback to that trend line, and then we had news coming into this pullback. So that was kind of an opportune place to buy just on the technicals alone. And it's interesting how the news tends to follow the technicals a little bit. We just saw something similar with Tilray, which is a little bizarre, but same exact idea. See, we had the pullback there. Is it a coincidence? Is it timed news? Who knows? You can never know that for sure. But it does seem like CoreWeave may be one of these stocks that can keep going. Data centers. A lot of this stuff is going to be needed for AI as we build out the AI infrastructure. So I wouldn't really be surprised if this ends up, pushing towards 3, 4, 500 over time. Let's look at some small caps really quick. BENF. Hoping this just falls apart. This is a known fader. Comes back all the time. Pretty much every time. Actually, there hasn't been a single time it hasn't come back down yet. Maybe this day it sustained a little bit, but then on day 2 it came down. Similar here. This is the kind of day we're looking for. Give me one of these. Give me one of these. Give me one of these. Anything like that. One of these would be good. Just strictly on the technicals. So let's look at the news. Looks like earnings update for the news. So, yeah, we'll see if that one can come down or not. Maybe it wants to spike again out of the open. Who knows? We are shorting these pump and dumps. So, what's Cree? This one just popped in. Interesting. Very interesting. No news on this one, so this is just a pure pump. So there you go. They don't even try to hide it. It's just running for no reason. Maybe there's a filing. Usually not. Okay. Definitely want to watch this one. And a lot of these turn into something like MSS like we had yesterday. Beautiful. Look at this move. This is insane. Just straight up, straight back down. Incredible. This is a liquidation type move. Now this looks like potentially a China. The thing with China is even if it's not a China stock, let's see, this is a US. Yeah, even if it's not strictly a China stock, then China can kind of hijack certain stocks So it kind of doesn't matter. And usually the news is a facade. All right, Cree. Definitely worth a watch on that. EPOW. Already coming down. EPOW, what do we have? Trading higher after company announces Sunrise new energy material was granted U.S. patent preparation method for an anode material for lithium-ion batteries. Okay, so they got a patent. That's good news. But why stock down if good news? So that's sort of pump number 2, but pump number 1 happened on the 29th, which caused the initial surge. So looks like the same news. So they reran the same news again for some reason. So they pumped it here with news, and then they ran the same news again on the following day, today. We'll see if they just dump that. It looks like it's done. EPOW. VIVK. Kind of cheap. Little bit too cheap. What's the news, though? It's always interesting to see what news is pumping stocks effectively. Signs term sheet to expand crude oil marketing and remediation business. Provide up to $23 million in funding in exchange for the issuance of a new series of convertible preferred stock. So this would be dilutive. VIVK. Let's see. We have 25 million shares outstanding, or float. 25 million float. Convertibles from March at 91 cents. June convertibles at 80 cents. May convertibles at 80 cents. All dilutive. We have about 14 million shares that maybe could be sold. We'll see if they've already dumped them or not. March and June. So May we had a pump right there. June, maybe not enough volume here to even dump those shares. So possibly some convertibles there at 80 cents. Which is just barely tagged yesterday and after hours. Possible that those are getting sold. I'm not super sure. I mean, if they're converting at 80 cents, I would think it's got to pump higher than 80 cents, right? All right, Wolf. Yeah, let me throw that one on watch too. VIVK. VIVK, holy cow. Okay. POAI is going nuts. All right, Wolf was super interesting yesterday. This is one of these halt vest stocks. Not worth touching, in my opinion. So when I see something like this, I just avoid it. Look at this halt. Halt down 30%, 35% halt down. Pretty insane. Can't really control your risk on something like that. So it's pretty much an avoid. Although today it kind of looks shortable. Just an avoid though. Gonna avoid it. I have no problem dodging certain stocks. Pretty expensive borrows regardless. Sky Q. Actually put Wolf on watch. Yeah. I'll keep an eye on it. I just want to see what it does. All right, Sky Q. Real world tokenization and future growth. Okay, an integrated energy solution. Okay, blah, blah, blah. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, announced its digital asset treasury strategy. Okay, they didn't specify too much here, but this is that special news that we've been seeing again and again. Eventually, people are going to get fatigue of this news, and it's not going to work so good to pump stocks up. They didn't even mention a token here. I don't see a token. Usually they say what the token is. This one didn't. So maybe this one's not going to work so good for the pump. Maybe this is all it's got. We'll see. It's holding sideways. It is a flag, so there's a chance it breaks out. SPRC. This has been a good one in the past. Breaking out over this level right here. Back down. Testing it again today. Now what? Interesting one. That is an interesting one. Let's see. Who do I get rid of? I got so many to look at. Too many stocks. SPRC. Okay. Good to go. All right, POAI, what is happening here? It looks like they did a reverse split. Look at this. Let me see what the news is. Ooh. Okay. 7:50 p. Wow, this has got to be crazy. So 7:50 p.m. Trading halted. News pending. That was yesterday. Right before the close. Right before 8 p.m. Extended hours trading. So 10 minutes before the extended hours close, they halted the stock on news pending, and it has now gapped up from $1 to $20 in pre-market. So imagine being shorting, swing short this overnight. That is terrifying. That's why you don't short overnight. It's never worth it. Sometimes it's worth it, but it's not worth it to get blown up. So, what's the news? If it's a split, it's nothing, but reverse split. Let's see here. This is nothing. This is just generic news. We got to look into this. Yeah, for reference too, this was a nice setup yesterday. Beautiful setup for the short. All day fade. I mean, it came down really nice. And then some people do swing overnight and try to get more out of it because usually these just fade to oblivion, you know, back to nothing. So anybody trying to squeeze another 20, 30% out of this got blown up. You know, that's a 2,000% move overnight on a halt. That's insane. Good luck even getting out. Look at the liquidity of this. This is nuts. It's crazy. Let's see what I can find out about this. Let's see here. Short sellers went wild yesterday. Let me fix this. Okay, so short interest up. Obviously, because why wouldn't it? Five hours ago. Is this the news? This could be the news. 344 million AI computing deal. POAI. To create world's first strategic compute reserve. Okay. I don't see their press release for this. Oh, maybe it's a reverse split. That would make more sense. Although it doesn't say it is. Yeah, that's probably more like it. That would make more sense. Let me check the splits. Yeah, it was a reverse split. They had a, what is this? 15-1. Yeah, that would make more sense. Okay. That makes me feel better. Okay, let's look at some swings here. Really quick before the open. 10 minutes. I'll just show the forecast here. This is super interesting to me. Tesla looks like it's heading down. I would guess it's been in this channel. And it tends to just ping pong in that channel for a while. I do think in the long run, Tesla goes to 1500. Nike's a big one. Earnings today after hours. So my theory with this is you've got earnings. If the stock is moving down into earnings, then it tends to go up on earnings. Just purely, speculation. And we've seen this kind of thing happen again and again and again. So wouldn't be surprising if it happens again. But like this one, you can see earnings was here. So it does the opposite. So this was running up into earnings. Earnings came out and then it dropped. It doesn't always work out like that, but a lot of times it does. And then the opposite, if it's going down into earnings, typically it wants to go up. That is the theory. Plus, we have this forecast of, it's been following this pretty tightly, pretty closely. And it's sort of due for a bounce. Plus, I would expect Nike to come up back into the hundreds eventually. It's going to get back up there. We know some politicians bought in down here in the 60s, 50s. So I like it for several reasons. Nike, Lulu's another one. Fascinating. This is on a weekly chart, so there's plenty of time to get into this stuff. Never financial advice, but I am long these stocks. I think this is prime for a really nice bounce. Also following trend breaks, things like that. So Lulu, when you get this 60% drop off the top, that's usually the opportune place to be getting in to these big companies. Unless something fundamentally changes with the company, we don't want to buy something that's being liquidated. But if that's not the case, if there's no liquidation happening, then it's probably an okay swing. Just got to time the entry a little bit and not get caught in this pretty massive pullback, or at least average into it. Have to time it a little bit. Those are probably my favorites right now. I do like PayPal too. Let's see, I don't have PayPal on my list here. PayPal, throw it on the list. PayPal, what are we going to do with PayPal? This is sort of my projection for PayPal. Just a guideline. I've been averaging into PayPal, so I'm waiting for this thing to get some traction and start moving up and see if my prediction here is correct. But yeah, it's pretty prime, I would say. A lot of these stocks that have been going sideways for years, they're going to have a rebound eventually. Just like Alibaba did. Alibaba's up huge. Pretty impressive move. And you could imagine, you see it consolidating sideways. It's finding the base. It's testing the low. Where's the low at? And then once it finally finds the low, then now there's a reason for this to go up. Maybe we need a little bit of news. Maybe we just need the big players to jump on board and jump out of the AI bubble stocks. And these kind of stocks are going to be bought up, I believe, It's my guess. A lot of undervalued names that are prime for buying for longer term swings like Alibaba. So this is a good roadmap to what can happen. Obviously, it's good to diversify a little bit because not everything's going to work. But where's the top on this thing? Who knows? Pretty incredible move on Alibaba. Again, this is the weekly chart, so we are looking at some longer term swings. Pfizer. Is Pfizer going to do something? Maybe. I don't know. You got RFK in there shaking things up, saying that pharmaceutical companies need to list all of their side effects on their commercials. So they have to decide if they want to have 5-minute long commercials to list out all their side effects. That could impact Pfizer. I'm not in Pfizer, but I'm watching. I think it's got potential to do something. And a lot of times this sort of news it's it'll cause a pullback or a dip buying opportunity. Just like Cracker Barrel. Let's see here. Let me sort that. Cracker Barrel. Pretty nice looking chart with Cracker Barrel. Another one. So they did the remodeling thing. You know, it got in the news and it shook the stock up big time. And then they reverted back. So what's going to happen? Probably just create a dip buying opportunity, which look at the dip it caused. Pretty incredible move down on Cracker Barrel. I just bought the other day. So what do I have? 44.36 average right now. So I'm in the 44s on Cracker Barrel. Going for a swing. Going to average in some more. But I am looking for this forecast in the background here to kind of play out. And you can see it's been following that pretty dang closely. It is due for a bounce back up. All right. 30 seconds to open. Let's focus up. See what we can do today. Hopefully these play nice. We'll see what happens with these. I think a lot of these have fade potential. Obviously, I'd like to short sell some things. Got to be careful with that. But really loving the swing trades. We are crushing the swings. And I'm going to try the fake out strategy on Tesla if it sets up. So we have a day trade idea for Tesla specifically. Sometimes we trade some other ones too, but mainly Tesla is It's got so much range and volatility. It's just such an amazing stock to day trade. So we'll see if we hit the setup on that. So far, it's kind of setting up, but I don't like to trade in the first 5 minutes. So we'll check in on that in a few minutes. So again, for Tesla, the fake out strat. Let me pull this one up. It's pretty close. On the 5-minute chart, we're faking out the pre-market high. I want to close under the 9 moving average on the 5-minute chart. That would be ideal for me. See, it faked out the top, but it hasn't closed under the 9, and I don't want to get whipped around. So we just let it do its thing. If it moves too fast, we just miss. That's okay. A lot going on as usual. Let's see. Okay, it's moving kind of fast. We'll see if we can get it. I'll go for it here. Let's see what we get. Risking 443. Short Tesla, risking 443. Looking to scale it out as it works. You know, trying to get 1R for at least the first piece. But if it gets close to that pre-market low, I think I'll be pretty happy. Usually it just channels between pre-market high and pre-market low, unless you get a big day. It's taking some out right there. Really, really nice looking trade. I'm just going to take it out right there. Pretty happy with that. Yep, don't have to get greedy with it. This could rebound really easy. Yeah, same exact trade we did yesterday, basically, on Tesla. All right, good trade in Tesla. And you can see the last 3 days in a row, Tesla did the strat. So fake out the top, come back down, boom. Fake out the top, come back down. Fake out the top, come back down. See, this one didn't go to the low. This one held the dip and then came back up. So we took it out right there. When you get that MACD rollover, this is the other thing. Scale it out on the way down. If you get the MACD cross, just get out because this can happen. So since it's a day trade, we're just taking what we get. You know, there's a chance this just keeps going down all day, but there's a chance that it bounces too. Not liking Cree. gonna cut that one. Don't really have to, but we have plenty on. Oh, there goes. Didn't have to cut that. Thing always looks like it's gonna squeeze, whether it does or not. Usually not. This one does look like the most likely one to squeeze. It's got a breakout level at $1. It's pulling back to $1. So now if it holds, maybe it comes back up. Maybe not. Who knows? Odds are it comes down. But this is the perfect looking breakout chart for small cap. Pretty nice looking breakout chart. Now this does look like a China scam stock too. Boiler room type move right here. Walk it up and then dump it. So this one might be pretty erratic. Tesla bouncing back up. RVSN looking like maybe a squeeze. Kind of light. BENF classic so far. All right, let's check on the swings. Oh, the swings are all crushing. So you bought 300 Tilray? Tilray probably having, I don't know, gapped up pretty nicely. See if it holds this morning dip or not. I'm all out of my Tilray swing. That was another good one. So yeah, we were calling that one out for about a week, I think. Week or two. We got in on this trend break, so I had a 113 average on Tilray. And then it's just funny how this trend broke right here. Trend breaks right there on Friday. Over the weekend, Trump pumps it up, and then we got a really nice pump on weed. From the pumper in chief. I'm kind of hoping this flags for a few days, and then maybe I'll rebuy it. We'll see. There's possibly some legalization news coming. It would be nice to see some real news come out. Click ripping. These are usually avoids for me. Tilray shook out the weak hands this AM. Yeah, fingers crossed it goes higher. I'm all out for now, so I'm going to see if it holds the dip. It is pulling back to the breakout level, which is pretty nice. If it can hold that breakout level at $1.60, there's a chance it keeps going. Risking 158 area, all right. Let's see. Wolf is 25 million float. It's almost on the edge of a mid cap. Yeah, I don't like mid caps. I mean, I don't know. Maybe on the edge. I mean, this is small cap action, but then this is just kind of disgusting. I would guess it comes down from here. But with the mid caps, they don't behave. Multi-day runners, NUAI. This one's kind of breaking trend. Kind of breaking trend now. Tempting short. Kind of a liquid though. Scotty, what's going on? Just trying to check out, let these shorts run here. Hopefully they will fade nicely for me. Try to cut the ones that are not behaving. EPOW, it's kind of working. Threading to squeeze. Yeah, I don't know. I can't cut everyone that looks like it's about to squeeze. Because they always look like they're about to squeeze. They almost never do. Don't want to jinx it though. Yeah, Al has no fear. He will happily lose all my money. Won't even feel a thing. But, you know, he kind of knows what he's doing. That's right, no guts, no glory. Fortune favors the bold. So Nike earnings after hours today. Going to be interesting. Plan for Nike, average end pretty much. I don't know. Same thing with Lulu, I guess. I guess I'll try to cut at 68. So if it drops too much, I guess if it turns into Lulu style earnings, I'll just try to cut it. Worst case, hopefully 68. Maybe 68.50. Zero running. Yeah, this one's nuts. We did trade this one yesterday. Nice move. So this is a good watch for a short later. So let's see. So far, a lot of textbook faders. Yeah, for the swings, we have on Lulu, Cracker Barrel, Nike, PayPal. I took a questionable swing short on Tesla yesterday. I'm up $3 a share on that right now, but we'll see. I really want a big pullback. Long term, Tesla goes up, but short term, I think we have a pullback. Here's Cracker Barrel. So we have the swing on Cracker Barrel. Following this pattern from Tesla pretty closely, shockingly closely. Institutional ownership increasing. That's a good sign too. And then we asked AI what it thinks, just to see what it says. So AI thinks $50 to $55 by March 2026. Which is okay. I mean, that's above where it's at right now. So I'm thinking it's going to be at least back into that range by November, December. But we'll see. I'm liking Nike really good. Nike, PayPal, Lulu the best. Institutional ownership going up on Nike as well. And AI thinks it's going to be 75 to 85 in 6 months, which pretty much is right on track with this forecast. Plus, how many times do you get a chance to buy a good company with a 60%, 70% pullback off the top? Yeah, as long as it's not some fundamental shift in the company. Obviously, there's tariffs, but I think a lot of that's priced in, and that's what caused this move to happen to begin with. But is it basing now? Has it found the bottom? That is the main question. Nike from 2018 levels, 2015 levels. Also, some politicians bought in here in the 50s. So that's a good sign too. So it's got a lot of things going for it. Yeah, I tried not to hold through earnings, but I don't know. Sometimes you just have to. Seems like if it gaps on earnings, then at least sometimes it goes in your favor. Maybe you can cut it like you did that last time, Scotty, really nicely on Lulu. Makes a lot of sense. All right, I think I'm gonna call it right here. Let's see what this guy says. Use AS with a wide offset to ensure it got filled. Yes, that is true. Unfortunately, my position isn't through DAS, so I can't do that trick. I got my swings over on E-Trade. So we'll see. I'll keep an eye on it. Maybe I should do my swings on so I could use DAS. But all right, I'm gonna call it there, guys. I gotta get going. Gonna let these trades play out. We'll see how we do. Several shorts on. Several swings on. Main thing is Nike earnings and after hours today. So we'll see how we do with that. If it goes well, I'm still looking to average in more into Nike going forward. But all right, good luck everyone. We'll be back tomorrow. I'll put some updates in Discord later.